You mentioned supply chains, and that's been a big issue in the last year as we come out of COVID. There's been definitely challenges in terms of supply chains. How have you been dealing with that? What are you seeing in terms of supply chains? And is the contracting, more nearshoring of supply chains?
Mm.
How are you dealing with that issue? There,
Uh,
Malcolm. Yeah.
an interesting thing is taking a look at the air cargo market across the globe
Okay.
and air freight. With the I was reading the other day, the if you take a container ship, a normal ship, container ship, Japan to LA, for example, during normal times that was maybe 2, 3, 4,000 US dollars.
Uh-huh.
Now it's in excess of 20,000
Oh my
US
God.
dollars. So
Oh
with
my
that,
God. 5 to 10 times.
yeah, with
Yeah.
that shift in different types of cargo
Yeah.
markets, more and more opportunities are presenting themselves for air cargo opportunities.
Yeah.
And what we've been seeing, particularly in the Northeast Asia region, in Japan, Korea, Taiwan, for example, where there are a lot of dedicated freighters,
Uh-huh.
we've seen excess of 400%, 500% cargo yields compared to
Really?
2019 levels.
Okay.
So I think that that's a really important factor in terms of global supply chains across any industry.
Okay.
And so I think
So it
that's
has benefited you at
mm,
some level. Right.
it's
Yeah.
definitely benefited a
Uh-huh.
number of airlines that are out there.
Okay.
However, it's interesting because even though cargo is high and cargo is strong, the passenger traffic has been
Way down.
very down.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
cargo has also been very much a lifeline for many airlines around the world.
Right.
Mhm.
And do you see many airlines folding because of this? Passenger traffic going down? Has that
I
led to a
think
lot of
I think there's
bankruptcies and so on?
been a lot of retraction in the
Uh-huh.
market. There have been a number of airlines that have announced large early retirements
Okay.
across their fleets, which actually gives opportunities for new entrants and startup
Absolutely.
airlines, particularly across this region,
Absolutely.
to come
With
into
new
play.
business models
Yeah,
coming out there.
I think a great example is Akasa in India, just recently ordering about 72, 73 airplanes,
Uh-huh.
and they've clearly identified an opportunity, a window to step into a high growth market, while some of the bigger carriers are coming back out of the challenging times
Like
over the past
Indigo
2
and so
years.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And what is this business model? What are they targeting from what you can share, understand? What are they
Well,
doing differently from the others?
I think it's just interesting to see the size of the market in India, and we're forecasting almost 7% annual growth, which
Okay.
is grossly outpacing the global average
Uh-huh.
at about
Which is how much? Global
it's
average?
it's about 3.5%.
Okay, so
Yep.
it's twice the
Yeah,
global average.
exactly.
I see.
Right.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
they're a
So
low cost model. And
it's a low
we were
cost model.
speaking about that before. Yeah.
It's
They're
a
a
low cost model, very
low cost
affordable.
carrier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And different aircraft completely, is it, in terms of size and so on? The aircraft
I think
themselves?
that the 737 dash 8
Uh,
uh, we can put about 200 seats on the airplane, and I think that that's about the right size airplane for the majority of the India
Indian
domestic
markets.
market.
Yeah.
And the range capability of the airplane allows for the carriers to fly efficiently regional markets into deep into Southeast Asia, for example,
Oh, really? Okay. To
from India.
Singapore and so on
Mhm.
from here to.
And airlines like
Yeah.
SpiceJet were flying the airplane
Uh-huh.
from Delhi to Hong Kong, for example, which
Wow.
is quite a
Yes.
quite a
Yeah.
stretch.
That's
So
almost across
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Asia. Yeah. Very interesting. And you mentioned different kinds of partnerships. What do you see in terms of what new partners is Boeing creating in this ecosystem you were describing earlier? What
Yeah.
are some new partners that are emerging aside from the traditional, the components manufacturers? And so, what's happening in terms of partnerships? What do you
No,
see?
I mean, when we talk partnerships, I mean, we have thousands of partnerships. I mean, if it's specific to this market or
In India,
in
in the
India.
growth market like India.
Yeah. Well, you want to comment on this first? Well, we see some exciting developments. For example, the Tata Group
Okay.
has acquired a lot of different airlines.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah,
that
it's a
could
big
be a
one.
great opportunity.
Starting there, India. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
where do we partnerships in general? I mean,
Yeah.
I would say this: we clearly need to partner with the regulator. The regulator is the one who's helping the oversight, keeping aviation safe. So how we can support them,
Yeah.
that's key. So we want to strengthen that partnership with the ministry.
Yeah.
Because they're
Absolutely.
clearly, we have aligned goals. They want to help grow the industry. they want to address some of the challenges and the barriers. So how can we support? I mean, so that's a clear one where we want to
And are there local technology companies that in India that you could see partnerships with?
Yeah, we have extensive partnerships with many technology companies across India.
Okay.
We've got a large, huge presence. Like you said earlier, thousands of direct employees and multiples of that, I'm sure, in terms of
in India itself.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So this is an interesting thing because you have a subsidiary in India, Boeing India, and every subsidiary would like to upgrade their value, sort of contribute more in this global value chain. And your value chain is truly global. What could, where do you see the future of that? Indian subsidiaries, where could they contribute more in terms of value creation to the parent company? Where do you see opportunities for upgrading of value?
Yeah, great question.
I think so. For us, like you asked about our supply chain.
Yes.
And the global supply chain is about 60 to 70% of the aircraft is produced by suppliers. And I mean, final assembly happens at Boeing.
Okay.
And we have oversight over the whole thing. So when you look at the value chain and how can they step up?
Yes.
I mean, it's as your your aerospace industry continues to mature, I mean, they kind of go from some basic materials or structures, which is complicated in itself,
right,
and then start moving up the
larger
value
assemblies,
chain, larger assemblies or systems, right? The ones, the avionics, that's kind of, you know, right now the GEs, Honeywells, they're global. They're based here in India. They're everywhere. But over time, maybe it goes from more like structures to maybe actuation, mechanical things, and you know, moving up in that chain with us.
I see. I see.
Over time.
And is it also in terms of design, of the entire aircraft, or that's too much? The aircraft design itself is too. Are there portions of?
I mean, for the designs of airplanes, like we were talking about, I mean that's I mean, we're in partnership with the airlines around the world, and you know, we're trying to drive efficiencies for the airlines, and they're really driving a lot of the design impacts or influences.
Design of local, for example, local products, local offerings. Is that something that subsidiaries can contribute to?
I think it depends. I mean, if the components like the seats, for example, we have seat suppliers all around the globe. And some of those seat suppliers, you know, they have authority over the design, and then we have oversight over it. So it really depends. I mean,
and because there's so many components.
There's so many pieces of the airplane.
Not one. So these parts. And then, so we've talked about the company. Essentially, we looked at the business model of the company, right? The purpose, the innovation. I want to ask in terms of you, what you as in your role, what keeps you up at night? What do you, at some level, as you're traveling and as you're what's your worry?
Yeah, that's great. A couple of things. One is just the competitive landscape for us across the region. I think that's something that we're really focused on. In terms of people in the team, I think continuing to motivate the team and keeping the team eager to get out there and trying to implement various leadership skills across and drive drive the team towards success. I think that's something. In addition to I mean, I think those are the
getting the team to be energized and
exactly.
And where do you see the biggest worry in terms of competition? Where is it emerging? Is it the traditional, like other aircraft manufacturers? Is it startups? Where is the?
Yeah, we. I would like to spend a lot more time with the startup airlines that are popping up across the region.
I see.
And I think, I mean, some. Not all will survive. I mean, that's just the nature of being an entrepreneur and a startup entrant. However, there will be some that will be wildly successful.
Find the right model.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that'll be interesting
to see where. So it's really, that's an exciting sector.
Yeah, exactly.
Very interesting. Malcom, how about you? What keeps you up at night?
You know, I agree with what Dave said. I mean, it's the people. I mean, keeping our teams motivated, working with and attracting new talent. I mean, because that's the core of our business is our people.
Right.
We're an engineering company, we're an innovation company, and that happens through the people.
Right.
So that I want to say, especially this year, I'm thinking about it more and more. Coming out of the pandemic, seeing the recovery happening.
Yeah.
It's people. How are we going to grow our teams? How are we going to, make them effective, enable them, empower them?
Yeah.
And then maybe the other thing is there are some things in our business outside of our control.
Yeah.
So those things we watch, and sometimes it keeps
such
us
as
up
what?
at night.
What else?
I mean, just world events, right?
Political
things that happen, at the very highest levels. And sometimes it impacts our business. So we got to watch it, and we got to, have our strategy planned around it and do our best in those situations.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you talk of motivating team, that's a common theme, team members. What are some issues they bring up? What leads to a lack of motivation or not enough motivation? What are some things they bring up? What is it?
I think today the biggest thing is transitioning from the pandemic lifestyle to the working life. I mean, not
coming back to work.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a real challenge. We see a lot of companies that are out there that that are doing all sorts of innovative things to bring people back to the office. And I think having, like we talked about earlier, I think having some sort of a hybrid type of a work environment is great too. Both it's a balance to attract new talent and also to keep people, retain people.
The flexibility that they need for that. Okay. Mike, what do you think? The team members who talk to you and say,
I think it's what you mentioned before. You said, how do they see the clear value of what they do? What inspires them? I think that's, and I hear it from them. And you got to communicate, but you got to do it in the right way. Because with the younger generation and, the generation I'm from, I mean, it's very different. How do you tell them about this value? How do you connect the work with the big impact that we're having on the planet?
Right, on the planet.
Yeah, on India, on on US, on the economy and families and people.
Right.
So it's just, I guess,
higher
a constant
purpose,
communication. Yeah, higher purpose. I think that's one of the big things I hear from my team a lot.
Yeah.
I think a real interesting thing is giving, and the idea of giving people massive scope projects and like giving them complete ownership of it, with and I think that the more ownership and the more involved the team feels in whatever project they're working on, I think that the more motivated they will to be to do their best and deliver.
And that famous anecdote of who was it? Was it President Kennedy, or was it Johnson, who went down to the Space Center in Houston and was asking this person who's cleaning toilets? I don't know if you've heard that anecdote. Why do you do it? And she said, I'm there. I put people on the moon. It's my job that puts that sense of ownership. And, that I bring value. It's not just cleaning toilets. That connect.
I mean, it'd be a wonderful topic to explore with ISB.
On this?
Yeah, I mean,
how do you?
Customers, everyone, and we're all dealing with this same challenge and opportunity.
Yes,
right?
But, especially with high attrition rates in India. Among software engineers, and that's something ISP, we do a lot of work in that area, and the organizational behavior department, OB department, in terms of meaning, motivation, team engagement. Absolutely. Is there a question I should have asked but I didn't ask, but it comes to your mind? If you were sitting here, what would you have asked that I didn't? An interesting question. Intriguing. What should I have asked?
Yeah, I'm more interested in finding out what is motivating the students at ISB to enter the work. Like, what are they looking for in terms of prospects, and how can we shape
into that?
How can we shape the work process, the opportunities that we have at our company to be able to attract new talent.
Attract them? Yes. Yeah. So many of us, we teach in the PGP program, and PGP is the largest MBA program in ISB. Typically, they have about 5 to 6 years work experience, so about in the late 20s. And I do ask them this question. I teach a course at the very end. And so, it's there is certainly a group that is very career-oriented. They want to climb up and do well. But that same group, and then a larger group, is also interested in experiences, different experiences, try out new things, do things that are meaningful to them, what we were talking about, something they feel makes a difference. So it's this kind of dichotomy and almost this conflict. But they are looking for technology needs to be a big part of it. They're looking to learn these new skills that will advance them. They are looking for industries. The most popular industry is consulting. So they're looking for consulting, product development, industries that seem to be growing tremendously or putting you in touch. So that kind of excitement factor on the industry is important. Large growth, large opportunities, and so on. So I think perhaps emphasizing those elements.
Okay.
The work that you'll find here is going to be very diverse, very engaging, challenging, lots of team collaboration, lots of meaning. You know, what we're talking about, this is meeting the aspirations of a large society, that this is not going to reduce. This will keep growing. And you'll be learning really new things. There is a perception that some industry is more traditional than the others. So breaking that perception will be important. Which means bringing in the other parts. And, you know, what we talked of space travel, we talked of these new business models coming up in technologies, these examples of this kind of transportation, UAVs and so on. So those, you will learn some of the most new capabilities in digital transformation, plus the culture part. I think those are very important.
Yeah.
And being there and, you know, communicating regularly.
That's great.
But I think, yeah, they are looking for diversity in the experience.
Yeah.
Sure.
And many come with an engineering background. That's a strong part of it. Many do have strong engineering. And many come with a software engineering background also. They come from these IT companies and perhaps have not had great experiences there, looking for something more. Malcom, what would be a question you would ask that I did not ask?
You know, I think we covered it.
Really? It could be.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. No, I'm happy
sure
to
it's
be
not
here.
that thorough. Really?
Yeah.
Really?
This is a good, yeah. I mean, this is what Boeing need to do sometimes is partner.
Yes.
I mean, we teach our leaders all the time. We have a leadership center and
Yes.
we do lots of development with curriculum and everything. But when we approach and we do this with the industry, sometimes it's good to work with leaders in this space.
Get in this.
I mean, the way you deliver it. I mean, so we're looking forward to how this program ends. So far, it's
going well.
Great program. Yeah.
And I think you're in good hands. Chandra Sripada is managing the program, I guess, right? Yeah, it comes with a lot of experience in this area, management. I think that makes ISB unique. The kind of faculty we bring in, and, you know, tremendous international experience, a lot of work experience.
Yeah, and that's key too. It's great to hear some practical examples, how it actually happens in the industry versus just
it's not just concepts. That's right. And we also do a lot of research. We do more research than the other institutions combined, top quality. So it's a combination of research and the practice part that hopefully is practical, useful. Yeah, but we still have aspirations to actually do a lot more, much more than this. Yeah. This has been wonderful. I think we've had a very good coverage of the entire industry.